We read in Luke 18 that Jesus was on his way to Jerusalem, and he was passing by many towns. One of the towns was Jericho. And as he was passing by, there was a man who was blind, who was begging, sitting by the side of the road. Mark's gospel identifies him as Bartimaeus. And Bartimaeus heard that Jesus was passing by, and he really wanted to see Jesus. He had perhaps heard all the stories about Jesus, heard about how Jesus heals blind eyes. And suddenly he had faith that if he could just get Jesus' attention, that perhaps Jesus would extend the same mercy to him. But he had a real problem. He couldn't see where Jesus was. So he did what he could. He raised his voice and he began to shout as loud as he could to Jesus. The people around him were really upset. Maybe they thought he was an embarrassment to their community, and they told him to stop, be quiet. But the Bible says he began to shout out all the more. Why? Because he was less concerned about what they thought and only concerned about one thing, getting Jesus' attention. Because he knew he had a narrow window of time. Jesus was passing by. In a few more moments, Jesus wouldn't be there anymore. Jesus was on his way somewhere else. And I suppose the question that we need to ask ourselves is, how desperate are we to have an encounter with Jesus Christ? How desperate are we to have him open our blind spiritual eyes? How desperate are we to realize that we don't have an eternity to just wait around expecting God to come to us, but that when Jesus is passing by, there's a moment that you have to step into. There's a price you have to pay. If you can't see where he is, then let the sound of your voice go to him. Do what it takes to arrest his attention, because Jesus will allow himself to be interrupted if you're desperate enough.